please stay standing? Thank you. I'm going to have the members of the jury brought in right now. All still stand. Madam Clerk, please swear in the jury. Thank you for your service. This is going to be a process for you. Please understand that it's your duty to decide this case based solely upon the evidence that has been presented and the law that has been given to you by me, the court.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're here today because actions have consequences. And what you're going to hear today from the testimony of the witnesses is the actions of the defendant and how their choices in regards to consuming alcohol before getting behind the wheel of a car resulted in the death of another member of the community. The state's going to prove these allegations to you beyond a reasonable doubt. You're going to hear testimony from witnesses who were there and observed the defendant consuming alcohol before driving and their state of impairment. You're going to hear testimony from the officer, the first one at the scene, who interacted with the defendant and saw their behaviors and their motor skills, and based upon his training and experience with detecting signs of impairment due to alcohol, was able to see those in the defendant. Where did you get a call to go to?
It was on Apple Street West.
What did you discover when you arrived at the scene?
I discovered 2 vehicles impacted, and I observed both vehicles had multiple occupants in a vehicle with one occupant laying on the ground.
What did you do when you saw this occupant laying on the ground?
I discovered that they needed immediate care, so I called in for an ambulance immediately, called in for backup from officers and fire.
Okay, what happened next?
Then I checked the occupants in both vehicles. I was able to get some response from some of the occupants and no response from others.
Okay. Did you detect anything of police interest as you were checking on the occupants of the motor vehicles?
Yes, immediately upon approaching one of the vehicles, I noticed a strong odor of an intoxicant coming from the vehicle.
When you say coming from the vehicle, was that just all around the whole vehicle? Was that approaching any particular window?
No, it was approaching the driver's window.
Okay. Who was the driver of that vehicle?
The driver would have been the defendant.
For the record, could you describe this driver? Do you see them here in court today?
Yes, she's sitting right over there with the defense. Long black hair.
Let the record reflect that Officer Toms has identified Ms. Smith.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, you may be seated. Thank you. Mr. Schmidt, you may begin.
Could you state your name, spelling your last name for the record?
Alex McCormick, McCormick.
Okay. I want to ask you about the night of April 17th. Do you remember that night? How did that night start out?
Well, we all went to this party.
When you say we all, who are you talking about?
Me, the driver, and 2 other people.
Okay. So you guys were partying.
Yes,
How old are you?
16.
So what were you guys doing? Were you just hanging out at one party? Were you going from one house to another? What was going on?
Just the one party we went to.
Okay. You said you had 2 drinks over 3 hours.
Yes.
The driver, Miss Smith, did you see her at all at the party?
I did not.
No. So you never saw her the whole night?
Never. I went there with her and went home with her.
So you saw her when you went with her, and you saw her when you went home with
Yes,
her?
I did not see her at the party.
Okay. So you did see her in the car?
Yes.
All right. When you guys arrived at the party, were all of you sober, or have you guys already been drinking?
Sober.
Okay, all 4 of you.
Yes.
And when you guys left, how are you guys doing?
We were pretty in rough shape.
Okay, all 4 of you,
Yes.
including Miss Smith?
Yes.
And who was driving?
Miss Smith.
All right. After you guys left the party, where did you go?
We started heading home.
And Do all of you live in the same place, or what was the plan to get everyone home?
Miss Smith was gonna drop us off at home.
Did you guys eventually get in an accident?
Yes, we did. We were in Webster by the fairgrounds when the Webster vehicle pulled out in front of us.
What happened when it pulled up in front of you?
So the other vehicle was driving and we went right into their side.
So you saw this whole thing from the back seat.
Yes,
What caused the accident?
us pulling out and crashing into the opposite vehicle.
What happened after the crash?
I can't remember any of that.
Don't remember anything after that?
No.
And we've talked a bit here about the driver, Miss Smith. Do you see Miss Smith here in court today?
Yes, I do.
Could you please articulate, if you see her in court, where she is and what she's wearing?
She is in all black by the defense.
Let the record reflect that Mr. McCormick has identified Ms. Smith.
Thank you. And is it?
Yes,
How old are you?
I'm 16.
Were you out on April 17th?
Yes,
What were you doing?
we were on our way home from a volleyball tournament.
From where?
From a volleyball tournament.
A volleyball tournament?
Yes,
Where was the volleyball tournament?
it was in Rochester.
And how did you do?
We got first and gold.
So you were starting out feeling really good.
Yeah, very happy with our success.
I want to direct your attention to when you guys got to Webster on Apple Street. What happened there?
We got in a tragic accident.
What about the accident made it tragic?
My driver, Lauren, died.
How?
She was ejected from the vehicle.
Could you describe this tragic accident that resulted in her being ejected from the vehicle and dying?
We were hit by another vehicle that came out of nowhere.
Where were you sitting in the vehicle?
I was in the passenger side, in the front.
Okay, so you had a good view of what was going on.
Yes.
What happened to Lauren?
She was ejected. We were hit hard, and all I know is that she was there, and then she wasn't, and she died.
I know this is really hard. What's your relationship to Lauren?
Lauren is my teammate and one of my best friends.
Okay.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You may be seated. Cross, Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. You testified that you had drinks at the party.
Yeah.
What were those drinks?
Beers.
Beers. Out of the can, or what are we calling a drink?
Out of the bottle?
Did you have any alcohol prior to the party?
No.
Any controlled substances?
No.
Not even prescription medications?
No.
Okay. So now I want to ask you specifically about the accident. This was, when the accident occurred, this was after your last drink, correct?
Yes.
How did the decision for you to be the one to drive home come to be?
I didn't think I had that much to drink and I thought I could do it.
Did you feel sober at the time you got into the vehicle?
Yes.
So after drinking, you felt the same as when you've had nothing to drink?
No.
What was the difference between how you felt then versus when you've had nothing to drink?
I was a little dizzy, but other than that, I was fine.
And you're not normally a little dizzy when you're sober.
No.
You're not normally a little dizzy when you're driving a vehicle.
No.
Because that'd be dangerous if you felt dizzy and you were driving a vehicle.
Yes.
So it was dangerous when you were behind the wheel this night.
Yes.
So those distractions were what in your mind caused the accident.
Yes.
And why didn't you ask them to stop?
Because I am used to it by now. I mean, a lot of car rides I'm in, they're louder. There's music playing in the background, Snapchat's happening. Like, it's a normal drive. It's not uncommon for it to be a loud car ride.
So this is normal when you're sober for everyone in the vehicle to be loud, be on their phones.
Yes.
But this time it was distracting.
Well, they were just a little bit more loud than normal. They were all excited about things. I don't really know. I wasn't exactly paying attention to their conversations.
Did you know the people in the other vehicle that you collided with?
I went to school with them, yes.
So you knew Lauren Hetfield?
Yes.
And how well did you know her?
Me and her talked a lot. We were good friends.
So your vehicle struck their vehicle in the side,
Yes.
and as a result, Lauren was ejected from the vehicle. Did you see Lauren get ejected from the vehicle? Did you see her body on the ground? Let me back up. So you collided with this vehicle, correct?
Yes.
What did you do after that?
I don't really remember. I guess I tried to get out of the car. And I think I tried to go help the other car and see if they were okay.
So you went to try to help Lauren.
I went to go try to help the other people in the car. I didn't see Lauren at the time. It was after I looked around and the cops came.
Okay. So you didn't see what you had done,
No.
but now you do.
Yes.
But you never saw Lauren's body.
Not until after the cops came and she was being taken away.
Okay. I have no other questions.
All right, and you may step down. Thank you. Members of the jury, at this point of the trial, both parties have now concluded their presentation of the evidence, and now the next step is for closing arguments.
As I said in my first argument, I was very clear about the burdens, because those are the burdens the judge is going to instruct you to. Throwing up your hands and saying, we don't know why this accident happened, is not meeting the burden of greater weight of the evidence. This was two vehicles on a curved road, and the defendant's vehicle struck it from the side in the driver's side. It might help you to envision that in your head from a top-down perspective, imagining it in your head, what it would take to do that. That's not a pothole and I didn't see lights. That takes something more. That takes a greater impairment. And we didn't hear testimony that Miss Smith is always driving while dizzy. We heard that she was just dizzy this time. That other times when she's driven and people are being loud and on Snapchat, that's just normal. But for some reason, this time was different. This time, the dizziness, the loud noise, the sounds, the alcohol, that was different. That's what was different in this case. It's the only difference. And because it's the only difference, we know that she was intoxicated. We know that her ability to operate the motor vehicle, clear judgment, steady hand, was less than it was normally. And we know she caused the collision. She admits that. Based upon just those facts, and those are facts that have been proven, she's guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you all may be seated. At this time, let the record reflect that all members of the jury are now present in the courtroom. The state is now present through attorney Mr. Schmidt, defense through Mr. Pollack, and defendant Ellie Smith is now present in the courtroom. I have been informed that the jury has reached a verdict. Is that true? Who is the jury foreman? All right, Mr. Foreman, I'm going to have the bailiff court reporter go and get the jury forms. All members of the jury, the form does indicate at this time, the jury hereby finds Ellie Smith is guilty of operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of an intoxicant and negligently causing the death of another. All members of the jury, is that your verdict? If it is, please say yes.
Yes.
Any who are opposed, and if this is not your verdict, please raise your hand and let me know who it is. This is all of the jury's verdict. They have found Ms. Smith guilty of this crime. Now, we are here at the time for sentencing. She has been found guilty, and I believe she wants to provide an allocution. She would like to make a statement to the court and to the victims and the victim's family.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I just wanted to say that I am really deeply, truly sorry, and I 100% regret drinking. And I just wanted to say that I'm very sorry to Lauren's family and friends that that has happened to them, and that I was the one who crashed into them and ended up killing somebody. I'm sorry to everyone involved in the crash that I made the decision to drink and drive. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that I will never drink and drive again.
Hello, I'm Tracy Finch. I am the Sheriff of Burnett County. We have just put on this mock crash as a reminder to everyone of what can happen when people drive impaired. Too often, we respond to these crashes involving students and adults who make bad choices by driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol or both. These are very tragic situations for everyone involved. Our deputies, officers, EMTs, firefighters all have to respond to these scenes, and it takes a toll on everyone involved. Please make good choices. Do not drink and drive. And if you do make that poor choice, please have a backup plan so someone can come and take care of you.
I am Kendra Jackson, a junior at Webster High School, and I played the role of the passenger in the victim's car who was struck by a drunk driver. And just playing the role in that situation it felt so real that it felt devastating in doing it now, but I just know that in real life it could be 100 times that feeling, and it's just very traumatizing. I know that if I were to tell my friends to stay out of a party, don't drink and drive, you just try your best to persuade them out of that situation, because they may not know in the moment that it is the biggest risk that can affect their lives and so many other people's, and it's just not something that you want to have to deal with those consequences in your life, and it's just not worth it. Don't drink and drive.
Hi, my name is Lauren Hetfeld. I'm a junior from Webster High School, and I participated in this mock crash portraying the victim of the crash. So I portrayed the character that died in the crash and was taken away by the funeral home. And I had to lay in a casket for a mock funeral. And then I also got to watch in the background a mock trial where my friends testified the story of what happened in the crash and how I died in the mock crash. And I would just say portraying this character just really made me realize how emotional this whole thing can be. And just watching my friends tell the story and just how traumatizing the entire thing can be just made me realize that drinking and driving is a major, major deal, and it can result in very serious consequences. And even if you think that drinking and driving is not that big of a deal and you've only been drinking a little bit, just that little bit can result in so many lives completely changed forever. Not only your life, but also that person's life that you killed or potentially hurt, and their family and friends and just the community. So just realize that when you go out and drink and drive, there's way more risk than reward. I mean, and please, please don't drink and drive.
Hi, my name is Ellie Smith. I'm a junior at Webster High School, and I played the position of drunk driver. I think throughout the whole mock crash, mock funeral, mock trial, I felt sad that I caused something like this, that was made by a poor decision of me drinking and driving. I felt angry with myself because I know that it was a really ridiculous decision and that I shouldn't have done it. And I felt sad for the fact that I took another person's life. So this experience for me made me realize that I need to watch the people I hang around so I never end up in that position again, and make sure that it never happens, and I never want to be in that position, and I never want to put myself in that position. I never want to end up going to jail for accidentally killing somebody, even if it was an accident based off of a stupid decision. If I could say one thing to anybody watching this video, it would be don't drink and drive, because there are major consequences that you might not even think about.
Thank you for allowing me to participate with this mock trial with the Burnett County Schools. This is a very important thing for the county and for the schools to get involved with, because cases like this are real. And I, as judge, have seen multiple cases like this involving our young students and our young people. And I have seen the impact that it has had not only on their lives and what it has caused to their situations, but I have seen the damage that it has caused to the other people involved. You may think that we grow up in Burnett County and that stuff like this doesn't happen, but it does. And we have had multiple accidents involving minors that have been under the influence of either alcohol or of some illegal substance, and it has either caused injury or death to others. And I have seen the tragedy that this has caused countywide. And it affects not only the individual and the families, but the community as a whole. So I would like to send the message to all of you that it's much more important to live life and to enjoy life substance-free and alcohol-free, instead of risking your life and others for a momentary bit of fun, because it doesn't always end up as just being fun. It becomes tragic. Thank you for allowing us to help with this project. It is very important.